Lee Physio and welcome to part 2 of my series for Stylerunner Health Club. Last video was a 10-minute mobility flow where we helped loosen up our muscles and increase our joints' range of motion. Today I want to build on our mobility work by focusing more on stability. Our mobility work allowed us to be able to get into different positions, so now that we can stabilize those joints and help minimize our risk of injury or reduce our pain. We often look at stretching to help loosen tight muscles. However, the perception of tightness may be that the joint is unstable and therefore we need to stabilize it. I'm going to run through 5 of my favorite exercises that are going to help us stabilize our hip, core and shoulder to get us ready for training or simply reduce our perception of tightness. One thing to remember is that with all of these exercises is to do them without shoes on. We are getting into positions of instability so that our muscles are able to do their job to provide stability for the joint and use our muscles as they are supposed to be used. Alright, so our first exercise is a lunge into a sprinter's pose. So we're going to put one foot in front of the other. You can place your hands on your hips if you need some more stability, but if you can, try and keep them by your sides and use them as you would when we're walking. So you're going to come down, try and stabilize, try and not wobble too much through that front leg, and then we're going to come up into a sprinter's pose, knee nice and high, balancing on that one leg. Then we're going to come back down into our lunge, and then up into our sprinter's pose. We're going to do 5 on each side. So coming down, making sure you're not wobbling too much, nice and tall, eyes up, and then into that sprinter's pose and hold. All right, trying to keep your balance here, coming down. We've got 2 more. Up, knee nice and high, trying to stabilize through that left hip there, coming down, 1 more. And then up and holding. All right, let's do the other side now. So right foot in front of left, coming down into that lunge, nice and tall, eyes up. And sprinter's pose, toes up. Trying not to wobble, trying to keep our balance. If you're struggling here, then you can use some sticks to help stabilize you if you need, or you can hold on to something while you practice this movement. All right, so we're using our hips here, using our glutes to stabilize and our core. Good, 1 more. Whoops. That's going to happen. Just try and stabilize, bring it back. And then down. Great job. So now we're going to go into a single leg hip hinge. So what you're going to do, you're going to have a slight bend on one leg and then you're going to try and make a T shape with your body. So we're going to keep that back leg up straight. Our torso follows our leg. Coming down, trying to keep those hips forward, squeezing through this glute, stabilizing through this left glute, and then coming up. Okay, you can bring your hands down if you need to. We're going to do 5 on this side and then 5 on the other side. So slight bend in that stance leg, really working to stabilize through this left glute. That's 4. Last one. Trying to keep your torso nice and straight with your back leg. So you've really got to squeeze this glute, but trying to keep these hips down towards the ground as well. All right, let's do the other side. So, right leg, slight bend, coming down, focusing on something, and up. Keeping both hips facing towards the ground, trying not to rotate outwards. This is 3. Good, 2 more. 4, last one. Now, if you need help with this, if you're finding you're wobbling around a lot, you can hold on to something, a wall, 2 sticks, someone else if you have a partner, just to increase that external stability, but try and practice as well, doing it without anything. All right, so our third hip stabilizing exercise is the hip aeroplane. Now this is quite a tough exercise, so you might just stick on the other two and build up to this, or you can also use some external support if you need it, but trying to build up to no external support. So it's gonna look like this. So we're stabilizing on that left hip again, slight bend in the left knee, coming down into that single leg hip hinge, single leg deadlift. Then from here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna try and close down that hip, and then we're gonna try and open it up. So opening up to that back wall, coming down again, and then coming back up, okay? That's one cycle on that side. So I'll show that side again. Coming down into that single leg deadlift, closing down the hip, opening it up again, really stabilizing through that left leg, trying not to wobble around too much, bringing it back down, and then coming back up, okay? We can repeat that one more time. So coming down, really feeling that left glute working, burning really hard, trying to stabilize, opening up, coming back down, and then coming back up. All right, we're gonna go on to that right side now. So we can notice there's differences from side to side, seeing which side we're more stable on. So slight bend in that right knee, coming down into that single leg deadlift, opening up the hip, and closing back down, coming to the start again. All right, we'll do two more on this leg. I can tell that this leg is a little bit more unstable than my left. So coming down, closing down, opening up, closing back down, coming back up, really concentrating here, feeling that right glute burning. One more time. Coming down, glutes and core working, opening up that hip, closing down, whoops, bit wobbly, and back up. All right, that takes a lot of practice. All right, so now we're gonna move on to two exercises that are gonna work both our core and our shoulders, getting you ready for a full body workout. All right, so we're gonna come down onto the mat. We're gonna come into a high plank position. So tucking tailbone under, pubic bone to belly button. We're gonna push up through our shoulders, almost rounding through our back. So we're really in a strong, stable position here. Then what we're gonna do is tap our shoulders. So tapping right arm to left shoulder, and swapping over for 10, trying not to rotate too much through our hips. Excellent. So core and shoulders working there. Now we're going to move on to a side plank. So side plank really works that serratus anterior, this muscle in our shoulder here, as we push up through our arm, and also working our side ab muscles, deep core muscles as we push up. So pushing up through the elbow, up onto the side. Going to hold that there for 15 seconds. Now if this is a little bit too challenging, you can come down, put one knee down on the ground, hold up and push like that. All right. Then we're going to do the other side. So coming over to this side, pushing up onto that shoulder, coming up, holding for 15 to 30 seconds. And then coming back down. So there you have it, guys. That is a short stability routine that I like to do after I mobilize or before I train, just to be able to get into different positions and feel stable when I'm about to train, or reduce any perception of tightness that I may have in my joint. Complete this sequence for 2 to 3 rounds daily after your mobility routine, or a couple of times a week before you train. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm Kayla Lee Physio. You can find me at kaylaleephysio.com, or you can also find all my mobility exercises in my mobility guide. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you soon.